There are many so-called lost episodes of cartoon shows where the main character dies. But what if I told you there was one where he did really die, and it's not the one you think? Hello everybody, it's your favorite West Virginia Space here and Big City Greens. Honestly, it's a pretty okay show. Nothing great, nothing to write home about, but nothing terribly infuriating most of the time. So overall, just decent cartoon. However, I want to talk about a specific aspect of the show. Mainly that it has a dark secret that nobody's picked up on. Not film theory, not the theorizer, not any of your favorite cartoon theory people, and I'm gonna beat them to the punch because they're sleeping on the dark horror of this show. But how horrifying could Big City Greens be? It's a show about a bunch of country people that move to the big city. It's basically like Beverly Hillbillies, except not money and animated. But that is the thing, is that it has an episode so dark, so twisted, so incredibly strange, that the fact it was able to get past the censors and nobody noticed it is insane. So how about we get into that today? The episode in question is titled Green Mirror from Season 2. And in this episode, it has a pretty basic setup. You know, they're going to some big tech show, not even joking about that, blah, 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 and they're advertising the new set, Perfect You, so Tilly manages to convince her family, in this particular instance, her brother, her dad, and her grandma, to basically sign up for the project, right? No, okay, basic cartoon set, probably gonna be a thing of how, like, this or that, right? Well, this is where it gets dark. The main setup is the characters are, of course, taken into the digital, not of course, but taken to the digital realm to have their flaws fixed by code rewriting, ignoring the fact that this is already pretty dark because this is the main, not the main villain, but certainly antagonist in the show, practically. We're actively messing with their minds, but it gets worse and horrifying from here. You see, before she messes up anything, she makes it very clear to always keep backups, you know, in case you mess up or have to go back. So she creates a backup of all of those three main characters. And that's pretty crazy on its own because it's described as their consciousness here. Like, this is who they are, or the cartoon basic way of saying soul rather than just outright saying this is their soul or who they are. This is basically who they are really. Not just like their bodies, but like who they are at the fundamental core. And she can just copy that and create a duplicate. That's already horrifying. The fact that she can mess with it is already horrifying in 3 steps. But here's the thing. After she messes with the ones originally, they become, of course, evil, perfect, kind of creepy, perfect kind of people. And eventually, Tilly realizes she likes the original versions. They have a fight, blah, blah, blah. And the dimension starts collapsing, but she's able to get the backups and get out of there and save the day and blah, blah, everyone's good. Oh, wait, did you catch something there? Did you catch a little, how do we put this? Indiscrepancy? I don't know what you say here. But the point is, there's something off about this whole series of events. I'm going to put this little text up here and see if you catch it. You see, the main bad guy created a backup, a copy of the original, put those backups in the folder, and then proceed to mess with the ones who were not in the folder. And then, when the cyberspace was deleted, those ones who were messed with were left in there who were, of course, destroyed when everything went down. And the backups, the ones in the folder, were the ones who went to the original bodies. And what does that mean? It means the originals, the ones who were not backed up, who, because they're the originals, they're just not the backups, were altered and then killed. They died in cyberspace. Right then and there, point blank, they just straight up dead. And before you say, well, maybe it's not actual death, it's a cartoon. No, the big tech bad guy is openly stated to have done this, and herself, the one we see in the cyberspace, is dead. Like, she outright says it. Yeah, she died there. It was only that a backup took her place in the body we see her. So this is the thing. We know that, it's not some fancy Disney death. Like, no, straight up. If your consciousness is in there, when it goes down, you die. And since she put the backups in a folder, that means the original cast of, the main character, his father, and the grandma are straight up dead. Like, ever since this episode, they've been dead. And Big City Greens has a continuity. It's not like SpongeBob. It's like there is a continuity to these episodes. And to my knowledge, they haven't made an episode that's really straight up a nonsensical or just not connected to the timeline. It's an episodic show, but it still has a timeline. And that's the thing. So that means this isn't like a one-off episode where the game's trapped in a dark dimension, but don't worry, the next episode's fine. They died here. The show openly states via the rules of what it mentions that the personality left there died. We see from the events that the backups are explicitly mentioned to have been put into the folders, and we see that it's the backups who get back into the real world while the originals are left to die. And that means that a good chunk of the main cast in the show is dead and has been for about a season. And the future movie or next season or whatever's going to come out, it's not following the original cast. The main characters that we see, yeah, they're dead. Like, they just died there. And that is incredibly dark. And there's no mention to this properly. It's not like Tilly realizes something. And this is gonna be like some massive survivor's guilt if it ever hits her and the show ever acknowledges this. Do I think the show will ever acknowledge the fact that, technically speaking, the 3 of the main characters are dead? Well, probably not, because I think to some extent it might have been a writer's oversight. But either way, yeah, that's a very dark thing. Like, oh, Red Mist, Squidward? Nah. Bart's dead? Nah. Creepy Gumball episode? No, they got nothing on this, because all those episodes are made up and never existed. This is canon. You can watch it now. And so, yeah, just remember, whenever you're watching future episodes of the show, just remember, these are copycats, replacements. The originals died back in Green Mirror. And only Tilly, their mother, and a few other characters, well, most of the cast is actually fine, but about half the main cast just got axed. So, yeah. I hope you enjoy this episode, and, feel free to, have nightmares in the middle of the night if you happen to be a 6-year-old who stumbled on this video. By the way, don't be here. This video is for 13 and up. Anyway, see you all next time. Yeah? Hey, why don't you hit that sub button? You're gonna become a subscribble. Get to see my content quicker. Wouldn't that be nice? I bet so.